Reading of previous meeting minutes.
City of Gorin Board meeting minutes, May 1st, 6 o'clock at South Gorin City Hall. Myself, Bill, Dorothy, Rebecca, Frank, Shannon, and Joyce are who attended. We opened the meeting, recited the Pledge of Allegiance. We did the approval agenda, which was pay bills. I read the meeting minutes from the previous one. Bill motioned to approve meeting minutes. Rebecca seconded. All vote yes. Delaney read bills. Billy motioned to pay Ameren Waste Management, Z&Z Propane, and election bill up to date and pay $50 monthly to Potty Express until balance is paid in full. Dorothy seconded. All vote yes. Dorothy motions for Delaney to have online banking on all bank accounts and for Frank to not have access to online banking.
I took my name off.
Billy seconds. All voted yes. Delaney reads budget for the remainder of the year. Dorothy motions to approve the budget. I attached a copy of it if anyone wants to see it. Rebecca seconded. All vote yes. Dorothy asked auditors about hired clerk pay. Minimum wage is required, and if city pays a salary instead of hours, it must figure out to at least be minimum wage based on the amount of hours worked. Pay for city clerk is tabled. Billy motioned to only write checks at the meeting and each bill be voted on and checks be written directly following the meeting. Rebecca seconded. All vote yes. Billy motioned to move the desk from the church to City Hall as the clerk can have her own desk. Rebecca seconded. All vote yes. Rebecca motioned to change locks on both the outside and office doors. Billy second. All vote yes. Billy motioned to have 2 different locks and for Delaney to pick up the locks and the city to reimburse for the cost of the locks. Rebecca seconded. All vote yes. Billy makes a motion for Frank and Billy to have keys to the outside door to be able to have access to the equipment, and Delaney to have an outdoor key to be able to get to the office door, and for Delaney and Frank to have keys to the office, and for Delaney to have the key to file storage. Rebecca seconded. All vote yes. Billy motions for Frank and Billy to have keys to the tractor. Rebecca seconded. All vote yes. Billy motions for Donald, Billy, and Delaney to inventory the church on Sunday to see what all is missing from auction tickets. Rebecca seconds. All vote yes. Rebecca motions to go into closed session per statute 610-2117 audits. Billy seconds. All votes yes. We entered the closed session. And then Becky motioned to reopen the meeting. Billy seconds. All vote yes. Billy motions to pay the clerk $13.50 an hour until caught up. Dorothy seconds. All vote yes. Billy motions for all board members, mayor, and city clerk to have emails for city use only. Dorothy seconds. All vote yes. Rebecca motions to end the meeting. Billy seconds. All vote yes. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Delaney. Vote for minutes. I'll first.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That's the treasurer report too? Okay,
No. Just a minute. We currently have $3,876.76 in the general fund and $8,561.37 in the road fund.
all in favor? Approve the treasurer report?
Yes.
I'll second. We got bills? All in favor? Aye.
Sorry. Yeah, I haven't stuff.
Right page. No. Okay.
We've already paid the 50 for this month, so we don't have to worry about
Yeah.
that for
It's
the tree.
for Cameron for City
for the outhouse. We're paying $50 a month, we already paid last Tuesday.
With
So we don't-
train.
Here's the military.
Postal workers, we're the only ones getting benefit out of that.
They're gonna be here this week to pick that
The
up.
19th. The 19th is when, because they don't prorate their bills.
And after that, if they don't pick it up, that's their problem.
I told them we do not want another bill, so
Yeah, but I know we had one for the cemetery for 1 month, and it took them like 6 months to pick it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes it does.
So Ameren for City Hall, Ameren is due the 21st, so we need to write the bill for it, the check for it today.
What's that?
City Hall's is $13.45.
What now?
$13.45.
Was that electric for the city hall?
That is electric for City Hall.
What are we buying electric on? Just the lights on here?
Well, that's just, even if we don't use.
Yeah, I know, you gotta pay a minimum.
It's probably the minimum, this is not a residence,
The-
and it's
that's
about
what I
what they
said.
charge me for my garage.
The street lights is $292.23.
200
Does that get us caught up?
We're already
Already
caught
caught
up.
up.
We're
This
up
is
and up
this
to date.
month.
This month. for that
Yeah.
one.
That's actually due on the 21st, so. And then the stage is $12.64.
I've got a question on streetlights.
We'll do that during the
That'd be
business.
new business.
Potty Express, after we paid the $50, is at $740. I just wanted to let everyone know what the total was.
What's that, Ameren?
That was Potty Express.
Oh,
The
okay.
porta potty. Waste management is $381.72.
That's monthly, right? That's both dumpsters?
That's both dumpsters 1 month.
Cause I never did understand their billing when they got it, I didn't know it was for 2 units at that price or one.
The fire department got me their bill, and it was $1,775.06. So we'll have to
Is that all of them?
amend the budget. Me for the door locks, reimbursing me for it is $22.77, and I have the ticket locked in the closet if you guys wanna see it. And
How
then
much was that?
$22.77. And then since you guys asked me to come up with a bill for my wages, the check for it will be $158.96. But I have the breakdown and everything on there if anyone wants to see it. And I did put a spot on there for signature for 2 people for approving it, just to be safe.
I'd say that's real reasonable, I know how much work you've done.
Yeah, cause
You're fast.
I've been calling her and bugging her about every other day.
Were you able to make copies of the minutes for the board members?
I brought a copy for everyone to sign for me to be able to copy it for everybody, and I can have it by tomorrow.
That'll work, thank you.
After, you got a total of all the bills
I
together?
do not, in just a minute, I can have it.
The fire department.
$2,656.83.
What do we have in our account?
3,000.
Is that for all the bills this month?
Yeah,
Yes. That fire,
yeah. So I said, we're gonna, today, when we get to business, start figuring out about that church that we're gonna do.
$3,876.76.
We gotta pay them.
With the fire department, it is more than the budget,
Yeah.
so we'll have to amend the budget.
Unless we wanna pay just half the fire department, or how's that gonna,
I have not discussed that with them.
it's up to you guys.
I would say let her talk to them and see what we can work out with them.
Hopefully they will not pay them for holidays.
Oh, they're aware of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, if we give them so much this time, and then next month, if we know more leading into the sale of the church, we'll have more funds, and we can probably gonna pay it off then. That's my,
You guys wanna know what half of it would be?
We also
I divided by
already
2.
have at least one person interested in buying it.
If I divide it in two, that is $887.53.
It's a lot cheaper than what it was.
Well, that's just the fire department
yeah.
half, that's not the rest of it, but.
They haven't told us whether, what we have and what we're gonna be paying this month.
It just,
A little over $2,000.
yeah, a little over
Yeah.
$2,000.
That's the general fund now?
Yeah, no, we
That's
got
what
3,000, a little over 3,000 right now, and then we got a little over 2,000
And
with
we're paying
bills.
out 25 of that 3,000.
Mhm.
About less than 1,000.
But we have one more vote on that church before we can actually put it in the paper,
Okay. We need to do that quick.
you know?
Bills, gotta pay them.
Well, I'll be the first nominee to pay with bills.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Passed. All right, we have approval of minutes on the pay bills.
And we got through
That was what we just did, right?
Mhm.
Now, old business.
Now we got to old business. What did we have on our old business?
Bill mentioned cameras for the dumpster. If I can get just the right papers.
We're getting charged overly for dumpster not being, lids not being able to shut. I'm gonna put one right there for her when she shows up, and I think this is your thought.
Now, on these cameras, can we mount them high and point them down?
Yes, I've already mounted one out there at Little Acres for Sean, for his farm, and they're building a house out there, tells them anytime somebody comes in there.
These are Bluetooth, aren't they?
Wireless.
They can go to anybody's phone, the only thing is, the last person that logs into it,
Has to sign up.
no. If you log into it, then you're gonna be getting the warning, so every time somebody goes to that dumpster, your phone will ding until the next person logs in to go through the camera to check. That's the only downfall.
What's the cost of those?
But you can,
$39.99
yeah,
right
for
now.
$40. And you can see everything perfectly on it, it's got night vision, the head moves on it, so if
That's cheaper than my surveillance system.
So if the car moves, you can actually get the license plates. If you can't get the license plates, everything.
Mine was
I really,
I like
and
them.
they can be mounted high, I think it's a good idea that way.
I got Sean's mounted at the top of a barn, so nobody can mess with the wires or anything else to it. You'd have to have a lighter to get to it, and nobody's ever messed with it. It even lets you know when deer goes through this farm.
The old one used to be clear up over in that corner, that bottom.
I say they could put it clear to the top of the roof, basically,
As long as it's getting sunlight, it's gonna stay charged.
'cause it's solar powered.
Well, to get license plate though, you'd want it on this front corner.
That's why I said put it on this front corner right there on the edge.
And it's, when I was reading on it today, it moves with the motion, so it's gonna track.
And it's on the north side of the building, which is good because the sun won't affect your camera. The snow might, but the sun won't.
What do you guys think?
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a lot cheaper than having the people in the county use it for free.
That's the biggest thing. People using it for free. We need 37 people to keep that thing going just for the year.
And right now I've got 18.
We got 18 people, and usually by Tuesday morning, that dumpster's full.
Ryan Miller, when I talked to him, he said that he has been using dumpsters. He does intend to pay. He was calling to find out who to pay.
This way, usually the cameras will be here within the first, as soon as we pay it.
Free delivery, May 14th, if I would've ordered it when I was in there today.
And I can get it hung up. And
We need a motion to buy it and
Yep,
purchase
need a
it.
motion.
A motion to buy them.
I'll
All
second
in
it.
favor?
Aye.
Alright. is having these, if someone refuses to pay but continues to use them, then we can prosecute.
Okay, that is all of the old.
I got one
That
more
we have.
question on that old one, because we talked last meeting. I'm thinking we need where that sign is behind the dumpsters.
Yeah.
Put rules, what we get from the
Yes,
dumpster people.
I was gonna say
That
that
way,
because
When we do catch
I've
people,
personally seen construction stuff put in here, and me and the trash man one day, both of us were fighting to get somebody's rug that they threw on the ground.
we say it sit there through the rain and everything.
Yes, that thing was like 400 pounds.
But this way, once we get the camera up and we start catching people, and they say, well, we didn't know the rules. No, the rules are right there behind the dumpster. If you have any questions,
There
there's their
shouldn't be
phone
any
number.
construction material
No
at all thrown in
construction,
the dumpster.
no full tires, no TVs, lids must close.
I mean, Kloppers pays, but he cuts his tires.
Does anyone know if that sign is vinyl or painted?
It's vinyl.
It's vinyl. That's an easy fix. I
Which
can-
one?
And if you can get the rules from the dumpsters,
Yes,
people,
I emailed them
and
earlier
then
to
make
get
a-
what the do's and
make
don'ts
a
are.
sign big enough to where people can be on one side and see it, so they can
Yeah,
actually see it.
We know who's in Gorin, and we can mail people in Gorin if they pay trash. These are what can and cannot be thrown
There
out.
are people out of town using it too that are paying.
Yeah.
There's people north of town of Memphis
They're paying.
that are not paying that I've caught 3
Yeah.
times.
Why are we
Oh, I know.
providing the service?
That's why we want to put cameras up there.
Yeah,
So on the
welcome.
first new
Hey,
stuff that we need to talk
There's my
about
chair right over there.
to finish off, since we're on the
Sit
topic of the
down.
dumpster.
Yeah. Have a seat, sir.
So, now that we're gonna have the camera, can we
Join the fun.
bill people?
Careful, she bites.
We should be able to build it. If
You
they
ready?
throw something
Yeah, I did.
in that
You better
dumpster, that's why I said we
I thought you
need
were
to
gonna
go, find somebody to go on, look up the rules,
I
how to set
emailed-
up
I-
bylaws.
Well,
I don't
our
think.
problem with that is we can't enforce it right now. But on the, like, can I mail them a bill? Can, like we said,
If
if
they
they're
use the
not
dumpster,
paying
they
monthly, can we do like a set amount that if they're not paying, we're charging them that if we catch them on camera?
You might want to
Or
check with,
Arvila said it did a whole lot of good just when they put up cameras and said, you are on camera, have you paid?
And put that on that with the rules of the dumpster,
Yeah.
that make it aware that they are on.
It says
camera.
on there like, hey, if you use the dumpster one time and you haven't paid, you still owe a month's worth of dumpster dues. It doesn't matter if you use it twice. One time is too much if you're not on you haven't paid.
I know when
Right.
Melody and Alan lived out here though, they paid it by the year.
I
Yeah,
think
some
mom
people
still pays
still
by the
do.
year.
Yeah.
We do.
That's what we do. And I just turned in, our neighbors.
See, they
and he
didn't live
paid
in
for it.
town, they lived out there,
I don't care if they live in town or not, as long as they pay.
yeah.
We go through,
well, if
I
you
got
think
4
about
corners.
it,
They got 4
those
dumpsters in the
dumpsters
first
should
place.
be for the town itself.
But it,
Not everybody outside of town, because
but them
But
farmers.
You
have
can't
got-
afford to be picky when we don't have enough people paying as it
Yeah,
is.
If they're paying to use it, I
but
don't
the
care where they
dumpsters
live.
were originally put there for the convenience
But if
of the
they're
city of
paying-
Gorin.
I know, but they.
Because
I can tell
if you would have the trash truck come to your house, it's $89.
I can tell
a
you
month
right now, we
plus.
have more people outside of city
Whoever's
limits paying
for
than
it, coming to
inside. That's the only reason we have the, part of the 18 is
And
that.
I don't care if they live in town or out town, as long as they're paying, they can use it. If we get to where
If they're-
everybody in town starts to pay for it, we can get another dumpster or 2.
Right, if it
Well,
is.
yeah, I mean, if
That's-
it comes to that, yeah, but
But right now, if you're not paying,
if you're
don't
not
use it.
paying, that's a
Then,
problem.
yeah, that's the townspeople's fault. If you're not paying, you shouldn't be using it.
I mean, who's to say if somebody's swinging through town?
That's why we're getting the camera.
So then we can see who's putting the
You get
trash
your
in.
license plate number down, you find out who they
And then we
are.
have to check with the county to
No.
be able to build them for that.
No, you
No, we
don't.
don't.
If it says right on that border where you're gonna be charged for using that dumpster, if you don't pay monthly payments, you're held accountable for it.
As long as it is stated out there to where they can see it, then we can do it.
Have to get somebody that's got art crafts.
Well, the lady knows how to print all that stuff off of it.
I mean, it's got to be big enough,
Oh, yeah, it'll be
bold
big.
enough where they can see it. So they can't say, well, I
Okay,
didn't see the
so-
sign.
Are we going to bill them the same as if someone was
monthly
paying monthly,
payment,
or are you
yeah.
gonna pay them, charge them like $25 every time? So then maybe they'll start paying monthly over getting $25 every time.
That's what I'd do.
Because I asked around
We were discussing
with
about
some of the
the cost of the
city
dumpster
clerks.
being
I've been
raised
emailing
up,
with them, and
maybe.
part of them, they charge extra if they don't pay for something and they use it more.
Then I would say, yeah.
Yeah, I would. Cause that would help further us getting caught up with the dumpsters, and, or we're caught up right now,
But it would help.
Yeah.
And if we got to where more people were paying, we can get a third one. This is the biggest dumpster we can have
I
here,
figured
because I
that.
checked into that today.
alright,
Well, we were discussing about raising the price of the dumpster from 10 to 15 because we need to balance the offset of that.
well, I think after we get the sign up there, and where people find out that they're gonna get
I know,
overcharged.
I know there's still a lot of people trying to catch up with us to pay it, because they want receipts, which I don't blame them with everything.
Like they weren't gonna pay Teresa anymore, and
Yeah. That was a
Oh,
lot
I
of
had a
Like I
pile
haven't
of
paid
receipts on
because
his
of what was
desk when
going
I
on.
left.
Yeah. So
Well-
there's a lot of people that have come to me that said they weren't paying until we
Because
got
they didn't know
everything
where
figured
money
out
was
to
going.
make sure Teresa wasn't touching it.
I'm gonna
And that's what I'm getting to.
So
yeah, me too.
I think leave it at least that for a month. See how many more people we can get. See how close we can get.
Yeah.
I
And
know
I'm
we're
gonna pay
running
mine
low,
next month. I'll pay for the year.
Do we have any
I
other
pay for 6 months at a time.
So
needs to be put up?
Mine isn't due till August, but
Nope, that should be in the old business. After we gotta vote on this real quick.
So, what do you guys want to do as if we catch someone on the camera, them using it and not paying monthly?
I'd say $10 charge, be a $30.
Well, it's $10 a month, just charge them what the thing is, and if they're
Yeah, but if you,
habitual, keep raising the price.
well, but we wanna put it on there. If we catch you using it and. you have-
$25 fine.
Yep, be $25.
$25 fine. Now, if someone offers to start paying monthly, do we let them do that, or are they paying the $25 and then going to monthly?
charge them.
I'd charge them anyway.
Cause
they-
you got a lot of people from Rutledge
Mhm.
going
It's an inconvenience
through.
for
You
the
got
people
Yeah,
that
they
do
probably
pay,
do. They
and
haven't been
dumpsters
paying.
over the
Yeah.
top.
So,
I hold
but
my
I
trash
just know
and
those are stipulations
Yeah.
people are gonna mention, so.
But I put right there, like when you write that up,
Somebody-
there's a $25
I got
fine
you.
if you don't
I've
pay
always held
monthly.
my trash until the dumpster
Well,
is
And
empty.
then, it's still gonna be $25 even if you want to start paying monthly.
And being we're on that, I think that the phone number should be our clerk on, because she's
It's gonna be
handling.
hard for her to be there
We
because
discussed,
Well-
with her working hours.
we're still working on the phone thing.
Except for once we get the phone.
We get the phone. we'll
I
have an
could leave a
answer machine.
space on there for us to be able to put the phone number on as soon as they get
No,
the phone on there, and then I can put the number on there.
we
The
don't
late-
know anything about that yet.
Yes, I've got the paperwork. Okay, so you need a motion for what you're doing.
Put it in a motion, what we just said.
I'll be the first.
The violators will pay $25 for a fee.
Okay, then after that, they have to join the club, kind of like the fire department.
Yeah.
If they come out and fight a fire for the fire department, they charge them for fighting it. And then they have to join.
So how's this motion gonna be read out?
That's what I'm trying to figure
Gonna
out.
be $25 fine for using without paying monthly, $10 monthly to further look into next month.
I'll be the first to mention it.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I got my money.
Yes.
Do you want me to hold that for you?
Speaking after
Yeah, I'll
meeting.
hold on to it.
Yeah,
No problem.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine, I'm gonna let Delaney hold on to it.
Okay,
People drop their trash money at my house. It's fine. I drop it in the bank for them. Yeah.
we have some too.
Yeah.
So-
fine.
but.
It's
I
fine,
did
I'd hold it for you.
talk to news. Okay, so the
Put on
phone,
$40.
wait, put it on the right page, right?
So I'm gonna pay
It's
it.
$65 a month. Unless
Well,
we do audio.
I didn't bring
audio
any
pay, that drops it
change.
down to 55 a month.
The rest
But I
would just
didn't
be
know
a
if we wanted
tip.
to do that quite yet.
I wouldn't do.
I'd have to take it out in babysitting or something.
Yes, I can right now. And And then the internet
Babysitting.
is $20 a month, which we will need for the camera, on top of the faxes and being able to Zoom call, because I know like the auditors mention that a lot, and they mention Zoom calls a lot at our
With
training.
the internet part, you can probably talk to Mark Twain, because I think the city of Gorin has a grant.
They don't.
No.
They
Or-
don't.
No.
We've checked into it, they do not.
No.
Okay, I was told that we did.
Yeah,
Nope.
we do not.
I called them. I even asked them about getting a stipend for the tower being in town. They said we do not get a stipend because they bought that property where the tower sits off the parish, and there was nothing ever agreed to with the city or talked to the city about the tower being in town. So there is no agreements with the town of Gorin.
Just, I suppose I have to pay property tax on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I've got it all filled out, I have it, it's gonna charge us $5 a month to get a paper bill, so I just went to the email, the bill, and all communication via email, so they didn't charge us the extra $5. So I set it to the city of South Gorin email, and just like the other bills.
Well, that way, if you ever need to print it off too, it shows the email address.
Yeah, digital.
I can,
Yeah.
I can print off. For now, I put my cell phone number as a primary contact, and once we get a phone number chain set up, they told me we can change that at any point in time. And then this is all the breakdown. There might be a setup fee. She wasn't totally sure with us being a city how that would work. But
Because normally they run a credit check. City doesn't have credit.
so I filled everything out.
And if we do
just
have credit,
need-
it's bad credit. I promise.
We just need, with everything, I would do 2 signatures. So we need one here and one here, just to be safe,
Wanna vote on it?
if that's what you guys wanna do.
We're going for the phone.
The phone and the internet.
I'll bring a motion to bring the phone in, get it set up.
2 seconds.
I'll second.
Okay, if you guys wanna sign.
All in favor? Motion carried.
I'll vote for my wife, you want me to?
She'll be- Yeah. Do we have anything else on old business?
None.
Yes.
Yes. we did. Post office box.
Yes.
They don't need me?
The
No, they
last
don't.
Nope, you
old
sit
business
down.
is the post office box.
Yeah.
It is $32 a month for a small
A
one.
month or a
6 months, sorry.
6
We might
months.
have to wait for that till after the church.
That's fine.
Would you like a check for $32?
So yeah, it's $32 for 6 months. She said the only thing is,
You gotta pick it up weekly.
no, it will have P.O. Box Rutledge, Missouri, instead of
That's right.
It
Gorin.
don't matter.
I told her it wouldn't matter to any of us. I told her I would bring it to the board and I would get a hold of her if that's what we decided. And we can table it for this time if we want to, so we can think about it to see how
What
we're
if-
doing.
One of us just volunteers to pay that, so we have that.
I just did.
Yes, say,
Yeah.
if somebody wants to donate the money for a P.O. box, I can get them a donation receipt and we can just put it in as it was paid for by donation for the first 6 months.
We don't have to worry about that, we don't have to vote on it, cause it's already been paid for.
Who's
Okay, I'll
gonna be
write you a
going
check.
to the P.O. box to pick up the mail?
Don't have to vote on
You
it.
pick up,
Dorothy just donated the money for it.
who's gonna pick up the mail?
Who did me?
Delaney.
Delaney, since she's the
I
clerk.
don't wanna
My
make sure,
check
cause
was
she
in the
might be
car,
busy.
but I will
She
write
has a
it
kid,
down.
you know.
But she can get in any time to go for a post office box.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, I just wanna know who wants to go pick up the mail.
Yeah, I told you that chair moved a lot.
I forgot.
It flips
Yeah.
over too,
Bill,
accidentally.
The screw on the bottom is really tight, but it needs to
So,
be doing it.
And that is the last of the old business.
Whole business is done.
Yep, so for vote, approval of old minutes,
Approval of the old minutes.
I'll be the first,
I'll second.
New.
all in favor? Aye.
business.
All opposed?
I don't know what
Minutes and
All
old
right.
business.
Everything they just did.
What?
Everything they just did.
I need to ask one
Can't
question,
Yeah,
since
we
we're
know.
not going to new business. Who, I got a picture, who authorized somebody out of town to take the gravel out here?
Nobody. Britt has mentioned that he's seen people take gravel too.
Now, supposedly they live outside town here, and they used it, and they put it in the driveway. We need to figure out who it is, and they need to be charged for it, because that is taxpayers' money. And
Nobody can use it in their
nobody
driveway,
can
whether
use it in
they're
the
in town or
driveway,
out of
in
town.
town, out of town, it doesn't matter, so.
There's the guy at the corner, and he said Frank gave him permission in
What
February and the day before he did
The old
it.
restaurant.
Joyce
No.
Tetlow's son.
I gave Chuck permission to get one bucket to fill in a
What?
hole that
He
he was
took
getting stuck in.
half a truckload.
They took truckload.
No,
And
that
put it in
he
his
did on his own.
driveway, and he's out of
And
city
he said
limits.
you gave him permission.
Well,
I
we're gonna,
gave Chuck, who's no longer around,
well, I got a picture of him loading his truck up.
permission to get one bucket
No, I said
of
that's all
gravel
right.
to fill a
We
hole
still
that
don't ever
his
do that.
man was getting
We-
stuck in.
You can't
do
give him
that.
any.
We can't get, that's taxpayers' money, we
I
cannot.
know, but that was before.
The only place that rock can be used is on the roads, and the truck parking, and like if the stage has
Yeah, no.
extra parking.
But that was before I was the mayor.
Well, it doesn't matter if you were the mayor or not. If you were on the board then,
Are you gonna be around tomorrow?
Yeah, but Teresa said it would be okay.
You need
so-
to-
well, it doesn't matter.
What do you think that gravel is worth? We need to find out what it's worth.
If someone can
I
give me a
actually
date, I
gave
can
Delaney,
give-
the county gave me a paper that says
How much gravel was
how
worth?
much gravel is. And that was something else I was gonna bring up, being we're in a meeting and I wasn't able to.
Well, wait until this is done and then go on.
I have it
We
in
have
here.
good
I see it.
surveillance between me and Scott.
Well,
They just say,
I was
hey, there's somebody doing gravel,
unaware
hey, there's somebody at the
of
dumpster.
the amount of gravel that was being stolen.
Which the camera on the dumpster should catch the rock too.
Then that's what I'm saying.
Also.
Because I'm like, half a
inventory at
truckload
the church,
over
too.
by Sam's place, there's two big potholes. We could have filled those. There's some by Paul Tide's on our side of
I've
town.
got a hole over there on the bottom street that needs rock put in it.
And when it comes to taxpayers, I'm not gonna be caught up in a mess where money's
Have you
getting
guys
messed
talked to the
around.
county about hauling the rock?
Yeah.
Yes.
They pay for it, they'll haul it.
Yep, we've already talked to them, they said within a couple of weeks they're supposed to come out and re-blade it and put more gravel in because we're allowed so much every other year. And they're gonna check out the ditches to see what ditches need to be fixed for draining properly.
Yeah, and we haven't
It all
got
needs
our gravel for the
That's
last
about my
couple of
house.
years,
Yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah, what's the, you mentioned that last time.
Couldn't know why you couldn't find something.
Well, they haven't
I
showed up
will go
yet.
over that in just a second.
So the only other thing we could do for cost of rock that day, I can call M&O and see what it would have cost to get that kind of rock that day.
Yeah, that's the only thing we can do. I can't get it on my phone right now because we're down
And
here.
then
Alright.
also the inventory at the church that we're missing out.
Yeah, we need to bring up,
That's on.
and then the other thing,
So what are we gonna do about when we catch people doing rock from now on?
We're gonna have to bill them if they see
you're
them.
gonna have to bill
Okay, so we need to.
Because we can't afford people just taking rock and putting it in the driveway.
Well, for
Where'd that sign go that was sitting
them. We
there?
looked for it when we first got
Somebody
voted
took the
in,
sign.
and they're gone. Just like when we went to do the flag, they took the flag and the rope. They took everything.
And they also took some of the flags along the cemetery.
this, don't break it down very well, so I would say do the same as what we're doing for the dumpster.
Say we can do like per amount, or we can do just a flat fee.
For what?
For
Taking
Steve
rock.
taking rock.
Have you got an empty bay that you can put the rock in?
No,
Not,
I
not,
got,
not currently.
not currently, because I'm gonna bring that up in the new business too.
So
And say even a chain link fence. or
I would
something around it.
do for rock, I mean, with this as expensive as it is, I would say $50
That's what I was
Fine.
thinking. Somebody's gonna have to go tell him too.
because right now rock, even for an inch to an inch and a quarter, is $12 a ton. So you figure that, you
A
know,
ton of rock ain't very much.
No.
a couple bucketfuls are almost a ton. So
Maybe a square yard.
I would say charge them. You know, we catch them, it's $50 fine. I mean, I motion to have it as a $50 fine.
Put that
I'll
sign
second
there too, $50 fine for
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
rock, that
Yeah,
probably.
put it on the same sign.
Yeah.
The rock is not for the.
All in
for your
favor of,
driveway.
Aye.
You need to post it that way.
aye. Are you
Yes,
agreeing
I'm
with
in
it?
favor. Well, yeah, when people tried to get rocks put in the holes down there, Teresa threatened them, said they
Yeah,
couldn't do that.
Did a lot of things and-
Yeah.
Okay, now
I'm
it's,
not Teresa.
now
No,
as
her damn
far,
administration is over.
as far as getting rock, I did talk to the county and I also talked to our county commissioners. They done away with the towns in the county getting allotted for free rock because
So we gotta pay for
the reason they done away with the allotted rock is that some of them was taking advantage of it and the others weren't using it. So they just done completely away with that. But they will come in and grade our streets for free. You know, once or twice a month. It depends on how often we want them to come in. As far as the graders cutting the ditches, they want us to vote on that before they do that. They will do it, but they want the board to vote on it to make sure
it.
that's
You mean
okay.
cut the actual dishes
Yeah.
out?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be so much
Yeah,
easier.
that's
I was
right.
planning on
Don't
doing that
cut
myself.
mine because it's got elephant
Well,
and it's rain.
Well, there would be.
They gotta have,
with it,
before they do that,
There would have to be-
all the utilities have to be marked for them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But 811 will do that for free.
Yeah.
You just have to have someone go with them
Right.
and mark it.
And as far as Grandma's ditch, 3 of the commissioners already know about the drainage ditch there because the last time that they were in town, that was brought to their attention.
I know one thing, one street is in particular, is a mess every time it rains, and that's up there.
As far as rock goes, we can buy the rock at their cost and they will haul it for free.
Can they
What do you
estimate
have
what the
to-
price is gonna cost us before
We need that.
we lock in?
Yes, they will. It's so much. Well, and the 3 commissioners I talked to that knew about the rock, they could figure it right there on. They said basically of what money we have for our streets right now. I gave them kind of a rough estimate of what we have, and they said that should gravel every street in Gorin.
And then would be broke.
Yeah.
The mowing wouldn't be able to get done.
But they could also, they said they could come in and do the streets that need it the most right at the moment.
That's what I would do.
The
And
mail routes.
then, you know, like I said,
And
it's
then the
all,
following year, do the side, do
yeah,
that.
right there's our prices
I
right
know the
there.
one by Tag Field, the back street, that one has no rock on it at all.
And I'd look to see what, if they come up with price doing like the mill route and stuff like that this year, and then next year, we can work on doing the opposite.
Yeah. But their main concern is they want to get our streets that
We
are,
get gas tax every
mud.
month or every
Get
couple of
them-
months.
What tax are we missing right now? Cause it goes to the school.
It's sales and use tax.
Has anybody found out about the train?
I cannot find an
That-
email or a phone
there
number,
was
but the La
something
Plata
I don't know if we, I know we do, I
City,
just don't know how much.
the La Plata City Clerk is trying to get me a phone number or email so I can get a hold of them. Because we have to have an online account to do it on their website, and I cannot find
Cause
access
that's
to
one
that
thing holding us
information.
back of doing too much right now for the road deals, is cause we don't know what's coming in right now.
Yeah.
Could
Well,
do
it was
north
what
and
they
south in the
did with
spring and then east and west in the fall. Then the money would build back up over the summer.
That's what I was thinking.
yeah.
Huh?
But they said that they will haul the rock for free, and they, as long as we buy the rock at their price,
Well, we gotta have a maximum cap where we don't kill the.
I don't wanna go over where I don't wanna lose half of what we've.
here's the prices they gave me.
If we,
No, we gotta have a max of what we're gonna spend on rock.
Yeah,
I would say a max, we got what, little over 8,000? I wouldn't go over 4.
I would say that's where we need to cap it, is 4.
Yeah.
And basically,
Okay.
you just need to do the primary, but the primaries, they're going up and have those cut, so the rock don't go in the main road.
Oh, the mail routes are also basically the school bus routes. Pretty much.
The only other thing thing you guys could do is 2 of you could go around and write down how many, like, big potholes are in each thing and then do it by priority.
Every street's got them.
I said big ones, which I know
Well,
we got quite
Once
a few.
the road
but
is graded with the
There's
county
one
road
right
grader, it'll
behind,
help a lot.
Is that last street here?
A lot
That
of that one
one is
washes
so
down.
bad.
Yeah, a lot of that washes down the
It
road.
washes completely down the road. I mean, I still got
But if
rock
they
out
clean
the
the
road.
ditches out, then that'll
If
help
they
with
clean the
that.
ditches out, it'll run down the ditches
Into
instead
the
of
drainage.
running right now. Only gonna run down the road is what's on the road. Right
But
now,
that one is the worst of all.
Well, we need to vote in motion for them to, when
Well,
they,
it's no sense putting rock on it till they fix the drainage.
well, they said for right now, they want to just come in and blade the streets and get the rock back up in the road first, and then,
We'll do that one at another time.
So
That has
what
to
if
be
They
we
need
just
to
have
dig
them,
that ditch out all the way down along, my place.
what if we have them just
And
come in and blade
they
it,
need
and then
to,
we can go from there on deciding on how much
yeah.
rock?
Yeah, because if they'll get it centered
Make the road
again,
so
it'll do it,
it's
go a long ways
in the middle
towards
to
it.
the water.
especially if they get it higher in the middle, it'll
Right.
wash down
Yep,
to the
so
ditches
it'll-
like it should do.
Well, and that's what
Right.
they wanna do first.
And
That's what
that'll
we
go a
wanted to
long
do.
ways towards making
I'd
it
say
greater
cap
there.
4,000.
I pulled
Yeah,
out
I'm
of the
gonna cut
road
McGrath, so.
Do you guys
With
want
the
them to cap right now, or do you want them to
tractor, I
come through
pulled
and do just
2
blading
buckets
and go
full
from there?
of rock out
And
of
see
the
what
road.
they think
And
needs
it's
done,
still
what
pretty
really
big.
I would say these guys, they get paid for doing this every day. They know what to look for. They know what needs to be done to these streets. Let's get their opinion on what we need to do first.
To have them have somebody come out and look at it, tell us what they think.
Yeah,
And tell them, basically, we want to put a cap of like $4,000 on gravel, and we want the worst fixed first.
that, I agree with that.
I do too. Kind of let them make the decision.
Alright, let's put that in the motion.
I mean, the commissioners, they do this every day. Them guys running the graders, they get paid for doing it, and they're out there every day doing it.
We need to put it in the motion. Pass it. Anybody?
I'll make a
Well, wait
motion.
for she's getting it all wrote down, I don't get too far.
So $4,000 cap for the graders and commissioners to help decide where it needs it first.
Yeah, and then we need approval on there, or we approve for them to do the ditches.
Who's walking around with dig right?
I'll walk around them. As long as I'm not at a VA appointment. Want to be first?
Yeah, I'll motion that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you wanna see this back on their prices? I thought it was pretty
Want to do
decent
church
compared to
now?
what the public
To
can
Cleveland
go
City
by.
Hall.
Alright, yeah, next step. So, anybody know who stuff's in this bay and the third bay?
The Christmas stuff here was donated to the city by somebody that was moving out of the city.
Do we need it?
We don't need it.
Because what I would like to do,
I think we should have a cleaning party
that's
and
what
get it all out.
no, hold on a second.
Oh,
I'd
I
like
need
to
the
get it
flags
set
here
up,
and
cause I had to move
The
that.
poles
that
are,
blade
the flags aren't.
So I could mow over there.
Okay.
I got tired of, you can't mow around, so I got it sitting in here.
The flagpoles are here for the cemetery.
Yeah,
And
they're
then
supposed
those
to come,
can stay.
yeah, they're supposed to come pick them up. Last I know, they're building a shed out there, they were saying,
But they can stay
but they can
until,
stay until.
they get
yeah,
back.
Oh, I don't know if they're building one now or not.
Well, what I'm worried about is, I'd like to get this to where if we gotta do oil change on the tractor or anything, like these 2 bays are nothing but for the equipment we got for it. And then get the next bay cleaned out, that way during the winter time when we're not using anything, we can put trickle chargers on the batteries.
That last
Right.
bay door is a son of a bitch to close.
That's what
Not
the truck's
really.
at.
Yeah, it's a real son.
Well, and there's cinders in there for our hills and our intersections that needs to be used on the streets
In the
when
winter.
they're slick.
But who's ever Christmas stuff and who's ever canopy and whatever that stuff is,
You on a different subject?
I'm just saying, in the big bay, the last bay, the
Yeah.
cinders behind the truck
Yeah.
all that need to go.
need to be on the streets in the wintertime.
Well, state does the street.
Yeah, but we can use it for right now, because it's just
The only
saying,
thing we
we don't
use
need
the
We
to-
state
need
for
them
is
cinders in the
like,
winter
if a
because
state-
most
Especially
time I couldn't
Yeah.
even get home.
Right.
Honestly,
park
it's not
and
gonna
walk 2
stop
blocks.
smelling like cat pee until all that's out of there.
That's what I'm saying.
And there
all
ain't no
that
need of
stuff-
just throwing it away when we can use it this winter to throw on
Yeah.
this.
Well, I'm talking about the stuffed animals, the toy boxes.
Yeah, that
All
stuff.
that stuff was
That's
donated.
D's,
These,
Ben and D.
No, Mom
Gorin
got her
City
stuff out.
sale.
We're talking about the wood toy box and the other stuff
Yeah, that
that
stuff was
wasn't
all
Mom's.
donated.
but then the
I
other
thought
stuff,
that was
Okay.
all from the yard
Except for the
sale.
canopy. The canopy I was supposed to take home, but I can't figure out how to
but
get
we're
it
talking
out.
about sometimes raising money
Does it
for
need to be taken
the
down?
county and.
Yes, and I'm a
for the
dumbass.
city and stuff, we can't do that
I know.
with
we-
everybody else.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
we're not-
I'll take it down
We're not
if you
stores,
want
we're
it
City
down.
Hall.
If
Could
it
you
needs to
please?
be.
I
Put it in
can't.
a pile and burn it off?
What about a yard sale in June with Rutledge?
Pete, you wanna see the
Donation.
prices on
Yeah.
Donation.
Probably need to do an
Everybody wants to
inventory of
donate.
everything in the building first,
Yeah,
and then can the city have a big yard sale?
yeah, we do that.
There's
I just
the
want to bring
county
one thing up.
prices.
Did you find out from
Instead of-
Stuart if we can?
I texted
called
Delaney
and left a voicemail, but I didn't hear
about
anything back.
Diane
Okay.
Parrish wanted to use the pavilion on Mother's Day, and nobody responded back.
Well, I went down and I mowed, weeded, got it all cleaned up for her, so it's all perfect down there.
Is it gonna be available for her?
I ain't got no
Nobody
issue.
responded
Yeah.
back to my.
Yeah, we
text.
said last month that, we said during the meeting, didn't we? Last month, that we went ahead with that, so okay.
Okay,
we
but
talked about
I tried to text Delaney to let her know,
That's why we wanna
and I
put a,
didn't get a response
we
back.
talked last month, we're gonna put a calendar up here. So if anybody wants to borrow I guess you gotta
Use
go to
the
the stage
or the,
or the park, you just come in here and if there's nothing on the calendar written down there,
Well,
you write their name and.
That's why I'm bringing this up, because
we brought it
if
up
I
last
send a
month.
text out, I expect a reply back. And say, okay, no, yes,
And then is there a fee for renting?
We never talked
Never
about
has
that.
been.
Never has
I
been.
mean,
I don't see no need
I'm
to
trying
have a
to
fee.
It's not
keep
charging.
the lines of communication, but if I don't get a response back, I don't know what's going on.
But you shouldn't have to have, you shouldn't have to have a call. We went over it last meeting. We said yes. That should have been all you had to hear.
I didn't bring it up last.
Yes, you did.
We all
Yes,
talked
we
about
all
it.
did.
Diane didn't ask me until last week.
Last week was the meeting.
Yeah,
the meeting with the auditors was last week.
I didn't know, she asked me after the meeting.
No, that was last week because the
You brought
auditors
it
were
up.
here and everything.
Yeah,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
because the auditors like the idea of,
We didn't charge and everything else.
I'm losing my mind. I thought it was after the meeting, that's why I was pissed about it.
Let's see, just that, and then another thing, I sharpened the blades on the tractor. It's
Oh.
mowing.
on the
Oh.
sitting, cleaning of City Hall. What about the carpet?
Oh, yeah, this carpet. We wanna take it out and paint the floors.
I think it's a good idea.
We already said, yeah.
Over here, you can trip hazard.
We never
and everything.
voted on
We
it.
never voted on
Oh, I know we discussed
it,
it.
so.
I bring a motion to tear out the carpet and paint it.
It probably ain't gonna happen this month though, is it?
Well, actually, there's paint
Is there?
in the
paint?
church,
Sure.
buckets
Paint
and
the
buckets
church,
of it,
paint up
and there's
there,
concrete
like
paint.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Up
yeah.
there.
Any of it.
If they did that
Anybody
basement
open
floor.
it,
Yeah.
see if it's still good?
Well,
Yeah,
concrete paint doesn't freeze.
We can find out. We'll get rid of the carpet and we'll go from there.
Well, I bet you it's oil based. That's what the Baptist church uses. So,
It has to
Yeah.
be.
yeah.
You didn't get this.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Tony motion to move.
I got one that
the
hooks to a
carpet,
drill.
Paint floors.
I got one that hooks to a drill.
Second.
Oh, geez, I-
Well, good. I volunteer you to paint. I definitely volunteer you to paint now. Pete's got a sprayer. He just volunteered to paint. I motion for Pete to paint.
All in favor?
See, they just voted on it. Pete's painting.
We still vote, we just voted on painting, passing, ripping the carpet.
Yeah.
I ain't responsible for what it gets on.
That's all right.
It's on the windows and the doors.
It's not gonna hurt a thing in here.
I'll volunteer to rip the carpet up.
I will help.
Okay, so next.
How you
We
gonna
were
put that
talking
in the
about the
dumpster?
garage.
I got you.
I'll burn it
You gonna burn it.
in the box bin.
Just
You
a
can
carrot.
have it, well, you can have it, you can have it as push in your yard, but you don't want anything to grow.
Oh, where do we would like to kill the grass in town? I can do that.
No, where did the carpet
Very happy
fall?
with killing some grass in this town.
Okay.
wanna get-
Maybe on my poison ivy patch, I told the
Yeah, we
poison
voted-
ivy.
Well, there's some poison ivy over by the stage that needs to go.
Well, I
they wanna
don't
go
believe
through
it,
and
it's
do
not
yours
even
too.
trying to.
They wanna go through and
Spray
empty
line.
They wanna do it yours.
You can do some of the outside of the building too.
So-
The yards, if they yard sale it and they make money off of it, then
If there's
that
enough
money
paint.
can go back into our general fund or our street fund
Well,
or
that makes
split it.
sense, okay.
Yeah.
You can do the whole shop and everything.
Now,
I'm a nice person.
last month, last
I'm not
meeting, we
seeing it.
discussed about doing the inventory on what the city,
We're gonna get to after we get done with this.
that's what I want.
I went through the, took the blade, me and Donnie took the deck off, flipped it over, got the blade sharpened. There's 3 wheels bad on it. I figured get 4, that way we have a spare if one goes bad.
On the deck.
Yeah, on the deck. And it's $50.36 for all 4.
It's not bad.
That's a bit.
And can we use our road?
That's all comes out of road fees because that's what we use it on.
I would go ahead and get them for 4 of them. I mean, that, you divide 50 times 4, I mean, that.
Now, the next thing is if they ship them, I'm sure there'll be an additional little bit to it, unless someone's gonna be going to
I
Kirksville
got a
soon.
question, since we're on the tractor.
Where are they at, Kirksville? Just north of Kirksville.
Oh,
It's
That's
outside
the old
John Deere
Army
Village.
Reserve
Oh.
thing, or jump.
I go to Kirksville every week if I need to ever pick something up.
Since we're still on the tractor, is there any way that the city can afford to get a sickle for that? So when I go cutting the
Not
sides
till we
of
do
the grass, I'm not getting smacked in the face by trees?
After we get more money, we can, but right now we can't. Cause we don't know if we're gonna have any more road expense or anything else, we're gonna be down to half.
Well, I
after
mean,
this
that could
meeting.
be on the road, cause that's, we need to clear the roadway for the bus, the
I
bus
know,
won't
but
go through there anymore.
Well, and
Trees.
that's something else I'm gonna bring up. Just
But we're already down, we would start out with 8,000 this meeting, now we're down to 4, if we do gravel. So,
Yeah,
what
I'm
if we
just
got,
talking about,
we got,
maintaining the sides of the road.
once we get the bills, or the bank accounts built back up, then we can talk about extra. Cause right now, there's no way we can afford, I wanna make sure we keep the city running before we buy anything
Yeah.
Right,
expensive.
no new toys.
Well, being that Bill brought that up, I talked to Ramers. Their man lift that's 4-wheel drive that they can put 2 or 3 guys in. It was $150 a day to rent it to trim trees back for the buses. And they said that they could volunteer one of their guys to run it as long as somebody else run the chainsaw.
Who's they?
Ramers.
They can lend up there?
Yeah, they'll run it for us, but they want us to be the ones running chainsaws.
Oh, okay, cause it's a liability, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, before we go any
There's
further
a
on that,
vote
we
on
need to
this.
vote on that.
What is that we're voting on?
4
The
wheels.
4 wheels for
I
the
motion
tractor.
to buy the new
Yeah.
wheels for the tractor.
All in favor of getting wheels?
Got a second first. Who wants a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I
Is that something they have to order?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm
Actually,
going
I
Monday.
think You
but-
just go to John Deere and get them. Unless they don't sell them anymore, but I doubt that. You just bought that tractor.
I would think. Who would have
go
this?
ahead and bring up the lift again.
No, they have to.
Well, we just.
Bill?
I'll wait till we get to that.
Okay, on the tractor tires, do you want me to call them, see if they can have them for Monday for her to pick up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if possible, yeah, that'd be good.
And then
I'll
I'll
be there
just
Monday afternoon.
get a receipt and we can reimburse.
Yeah.
They're gonna call,
Okay,
And see
cause
if
I'll
they
be
can
there
have them
Monday
there,
afternoon, so
and
just
then
let me know.
just get a receipt and then we'll reimburse you. Okay, thank you.
You wanna go about that one right there, Bobby?
Continue on to that.
Finish the list thing real quick. and-
Do we want to go ahead and have Ramers rent their lift? They said it'll take maybe a day to cut all these trees back for the school bus.
My chainsaw's not working, so.
I've got 2 at the house.
We've got one.
Okay,
You're not home very
this is
often,
where
to
you're gonna have
be
a
up in
problem.
it, so we have to find somebody to be up in it.
You're gonna have a
You wanna
problem
be in the
with
lift?
Terry Peterson.
You wanna be in the
Go
lift?
here,
Yeah,
run-
What kind of a lift?
run a chainsaw
Run you out.
from Ramers.
I don't know if I can do that.
Okay,
I'm not.
I can
I'm
remember this.
not.
Me neither.
I
I'll
used
be
to
on the
live
ground.
Did you
there.
hear me about that? You're gonna have a problem with the homeowners about cutting their trees.
No.
No.
They're not their
because
trees.
There's,
If it's.
They're in the
listed-
ditch.
I had that problem with the one behind me.
If it's in the
It-
ditch.
it's not their tree.
It's not their tree.
I've been cutting on it.
And if it's
she
the
comes out
neighbor's
and
tree and
screaming.
it's hanging on your property, they got no say.
Yeah,
It's
Whatever's
it's-
hanging
over
on your
the
property.
road.
if it's
Yeah,
hanging
it's-
over the
road,
road,
it's
city
not their-
property.
The road or, you
And
got
she
to go
about
back to
ran
the
us
sidewalk.
over.
And because it
Yeah.
is a school bus route, she cannot say a word.
Her exact words, she came up to me while we were trimming him, and she said, fuck that bus.
No.
She
Yeah.
was,
She can't.
She can't.
like,
And-
she was
She
mad.
literally tried
Yeah.
to run them over.
Yeah.
As the city board, they can call the sheriff's department and have her arrested.
Who?
Yeah.
Sherry Peterson, for trying to stop them for trimming trees. Yeah.
I've got that pin out.
So I
If you
motion
It's
to
legal
go
for
ahead
back
and
to
rent
the
the lift
inside of the
then.
cut
sidewalk.
anything
gotta find
off of
somebody
it
to
now,
do it
it'll kill
first.
the entire branch.
Okay.
Well, you're not on the bus route, so that's not an issue.
Talk to Mike
Yeah.
Parrott.
It could be done in
Mike
the,
Parrott.
in the
I don't
winter.
mind, I got a whole
Here's
tree.
a
I'll cut
volunteer.
down.
Says off my side.
Well, Mike's bored. He might appreciate it. He spends more time driving around this town than anybody else. On everything. He'll drive by in the truck and then the car and on the three-wheeler.
We're gonna go
But
over
I'm dealing with the truck.
the stuff that missing.
I don't know, we can
Okay.
schedule it with the river or not.
Yes, they said-
Well,
They said just
Figure it out.
schedule a time to do it.
Well, then we'll table that.
Table it.
Okay.
So next we need to talk about the church. So when we went in and inventoried, there was 10 chairs, 3 tables, a pew, a stove.
A refrigerator.
No,
No,
missing.
missing.
That's out of the purchase stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all the
Well,
stuff missing.
then you know,
Yeah.
the next problem with that is you gotta file a police report, as you know what's missing.
But we went into inventory it to figure it out to go
Figure
from
it out,
there.
then bring it to the board and vote what we wanna do.
Did you determine how much that stuff is worth?
Well, we know what we paid.
Yeah, so that's what they'll go off of, and I think it was like $300 from what we paid.
Will they do anything over $300?
It's a missing.
Yeah, it'd be like a Class C misdemeanor.
I mean, it still charges and makes the
Depending on
point.
which church pew, because some of those were more expensive than others, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of them were 100 and some was 225.
So,
The pews were missing?
yes.
A pew was missing.
And then the,
How many did we purchase?
All of them.
16.
Yeah, 16 and there's 15 there.
I don't know, I wasn't on the board.
She did that by herself. She was by herself up there.
And then.
Well,
Yeah,
Somebody
the
else
board
was
never
purchasing 'cause there was-
voted to do it.
2 auction
And then the
numbers.
stoves
But the board
missing.
is still
There were 2
responsible.
stoves down there, one of them's missing.
We need to put down the dollar amount, what was stolen,
She said $300 by what she's got roughly filled in.
okay, the items that were stolen, and then file the police report.
In
You
favor?
have to
Aye.
do that.
I make a motion to go ahead. Make a police report, get it all going.
It has to be done, I mean, if it's stolen property, it's stolen property.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were saying, taking it out, who saw it?
Charlie.
Charlie saw it.
Yeah. Charlie asked me about it, and I was like, I haven't been sworn in yet. I can't go up there. There's nothing I can do. So,
Okay, so Donnie
So
motioned.
we
I'll
know for
second it.
sure that these items are missing from the auction
Oh, yeah.
tickets.
they left the cheap table, fold-up tables. They took the newer tables.
So itemize what was actually stolen.
I've got it. I will get it typed up so then we can have it. Who's going to take and
I'll go talk to the cops. I don't.
Billy?
You get everything for me, and I'll go talk to them.
I'll have it for you by Monday. So Donnie motioned, Billy seconded. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
Alright.
The next thing was, there is no stipulations in the deed to the church of what has to be done with it.
So it's a free building to sell.
You can sell it.
I've supported by one person in town. They think we should donate it, and I kind of explained to them that we cannot afford with what happened with the last mayor, and now that our funds are short to keep the town running. So we were talking about selling it.
I make a motion to sell it.
I-
We need the
I
money.
second.
This will be
Made a
the,
motion to sell it.
yeah, this will be the second time, but at this time, I wanna make sure we do too. We talked that if we do sell it, is everything in it going with it?
Or are we,
The
Except for the desk.
because we've already motioned to move it down
Yeah,
here.
the desk is.
I
coming
think
down
we
there.
ought to-
Before we sell it, we need to go down there and see what we have,
We already went through
and
it all.
we-
what
That's
we
what we
want
Is there
decided
from
anything in there
there.
that you think that we need?
The
No.
tables would be the most.
The
The
tables and
tables,
chairs
in case
would
somebody
be
decides to have a
things we
yard
would need.
sale, that's why I wanted this area cleaned out, where there's nothing in there. And we got everything out of there, if somebody wanted to come down and have a yard sale, they can,
I think
still be in the shade and everything else, they can still use this building.
I think we ought to keep the table and chairs
That's what I'm
for
saying.
for benefits or
Functional.
yeah.
And we don't have
For
a stool anymore
fundraisers.
that we can use.
And see, that
Because
would make.
Could
each
rent
unit-
out the garage for events to people for,
Who does?
I said we could for,
I would
you know,
definitely charge
for
people.
Yeah.
40 or
20
50 bucks
and-
with the chairs and the
Yeah.
tables, cause there's
Yeah.
like 20 tables
That
and
way they're
50
sitting in the
chairs
shade
and,
area.
So
Yeah.
keep
They
the
needed
tables
the
and
25th.
chairs.
well, see,
Tables,
you need
chairs,
20
and the
tables
desk.
and 50 chairs, right? And you'd pay
I
50
know
bucks
that
for that,
Kelly
right?
Is interested
Huh?
in
You'd
buying.
pay 50
Well,
bucks for that, right?
I've got
It's
some.
not
there.
there.
Is that
All
the
right.
same person that Ryan?
We know what we
Yes.
got into it.
Yeah,
We wanna,
that's two people together.
we're
Yeah.
all together now, we wanna put a cap,
Or minimum.
a minimum, what,
Minimum,
minimum
yeah.
of what we've got into it.
Well, do we want to sell it at auction or?
I
No.
would say
I would say
I
closed
I thought we gotta
bids.
do closed bids, and
Closed
it's gotta be in the newspaper to where we run it, and isn't that 2 weeks,
4 weeks.
4 weeks in the newspaper, and the highest bidder gets it, but there's gotta be that,
Minimum that we can.
Yeah.
yeah,
The less you're gonna take
Yeah.
for it.
yeah,
And the less we can take for it isn't 10.
it's 10. But
Yeah.
it's a nice
But-
building, you can make good storage out of it, you can do whatever.
Isn't there a lot of things wrong with it? And some people
Well,
would
that's
have,
right.
wouldn't they need to like chewer it, like?
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Mhm.
If we have to,
It's
we
not
got
gonna
keys.
leak,
Well,
it's got a new look. but it's
what
not-
about having a banker or somebody come in and
Appraise it?
appraise it and see?
Or a realtor, or.
We do
Yeah,
that.
cause it doesn't cost to have a realtor appraise it.
Yeah,
I think we ought to have it appraised and they can give us
Dave
the.
Smith's good
An
with.
idea.
Yeah, Dave
Yeah.
Smith,
Good idea.
we sold our last house to him.
Yeah.
I got his number, I can talk to David Smith, see if he can come appraise it for us. And get a key from you for it.
So you wanna keep the tables, chairs, and desks, have David Smith appraise it, and then come back and figure out what the minimum is we wanna sell it for.
Revisit it.
Next month.
What, the stuff?
Well,
Right here?
No,
No.
the,
No, the church.
Oh, you
we're gonna
wanna-
get it appraised
Okay.
and then figure out what the minimum is.
All right, then we can put that in a
The
motion, what we're
Baptist
gonna do
church
here.
was 10,000.
Right.
Everything.
Bigger church, I don't know.
So when I've been going through the desk, there's not much, it's some random change and stuff like that, but I found a little bit of money in the desk.
All the pennies?
No, we found checks too, but.
And
No,
cash.
No, it was the cash, the checks are too old, we can't do anything with them.
I know, I'm
But
just saying, we
the
did
little-
find people's, we found your check,
Really, you
Mhm.
did?
yeah.
I-
But what
It was
we did-
actually in the
I
checkbook.
know it wasn't cash.
Nope, it was in the check, there were
And
like 3 or 4
Did we
checks.
find Paige's check?
I did money orders.
No, it was Rhonda's check.
Yeah, Rhonda.
Actually, you can check.
Where were they
Mine's
at?
still good.
In the
In
checkbook.
the checkbook, in the desk.
The city checkbook?
Yeah, in the city
Yeah, old
checkbook.
one.
Yeah.
One, yeah.
And they were
Actu-
trashed out their fees?
Yep.
Yeah.
Never put in the bank.
So it just got
Anyway,
thrown aside
So what do we wanna
and forgot
do with
about.
that
Mhm.
change that I found?
I'd put it in our regular,
General.
Actually, you
fund.
can cash mine, it's still good.
we're not doing it,
You're not. You want another one, I suppose.
no.
Well, do you want yours cashed? That should be
Can't
a
do
question.
You've already paid, it's on the last mayor's fault for not cashing it, it's not your fault.
And I don't even think it was last year's, I think it was the year before.
Yeah, it was like 21.
It's been a long time.
So really old. I think the bank would just call you and ask if you wanted it cash.
A motion to deposit it into the general fund, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
So that, whose check we deposit?
All in favor?
I,
That's all that I have.
Okay, I wanted to bring something up because the road graders are coming in.
Before you get rolling. What? You got a motion on the floor?
It's already been voted on.
It's already been voted on. Because road graders are coming in, I think we ought to vote to go around and have vehicles moved off the streets. That's been sitting there for years, that's in the way. And Main Street's one of them that stuff needs to be cleaned up.
We're gonna have to put it in the paper or something, because there's cars that are sitting in ditches too.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come in and do the ditches, they're gonna have to be moved too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, hanging over.
Yeah, over here by my place.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't read the paper. You might
Might have
just
to
type
do
a
it door to
letter
door.
and
Mail it
go
to
door to
everybody?
door.
Oh, she don't
There's
want, she don't want me
just
coming
right
to her
here.
door again.
I'll go to her door again. I have no
Who's that?
problems with it
Mail it.
whatsoever.
My neighbor,
Yeah,
she just
But
takes
if you
it.
take it around and just tape it to everybody's door,
Which neighbor?
it might be the most peaceful thing to do.
Tape it to the doors of people that got things in the
Yeah,
street.
if they're parking along the street or they have things in the street, just tape it to their doors. Don't even have to knock.
Well, most
Yeah.
of these things aren't parked there, they're dead there.
Yeah, or tape it to the windshield of that
I motion to
thing.
have Delaney type up a letter
That vehicles need to be moved off the streets.
Yeah.
and out of the
Streets and
ditches.
out of ditches.
How many we
I agree.
want? And we
Or
can-
they will be
I
towed
would say this is probably
at
like
owner's
20 of them.
expense.
We might not need 20, and
Well,
I don't wanna start, if we
Before
can
you-
take them and hang them in their door.
why don't we just put on the floor, go around, do we know where these vehicles are?
Oh yeah, you just drive around
It's
town and
posted
see 'em.
on those, and some of these places, there's no homeowners anymore. What are you gonna do about that?
Then the
Where is
vehicles
there?
get
Where
towed.
are there vehicles that there's no homeowners?
Cause we got the ones that park on the road, we got the unlicensed that have been there at least 15 years, and then you got the other one hanging over the ditch.
Yeah, I know.
You would
there's
think
a-
these
there.
people would
On
want
the
to
property
have them
that
hauled off,
there's
because a lot of times
nobody-
they can have them hauled off and get so much money for junk price for them. If they're
Yeah.
15
what do you
years, that's
think
long
about
enough.
The ones that
I
don't
think
move,
they're
have them towed
far
in.
back.
You gotta talk to the homeowner first.
Well, it depends on if they're all the
But
way
I
in their
know,
yard
like
or nothing to
Andrea,
do
they
with
got
it.
one
They're
that
actually in
hangs
the
over
ditch.
the ditch.
Or on the road.
Yeah.
Well, on the road, they can be towed away.
At the owner's
They can
expense.
just put that instead of that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
You would actually talk to Brett, and he'll probably.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you do that, Frank?
They're actually parking, not.
I said, why don't you do that, Frank?
Right,
Huh?
they just need to be
You wanna
aware.
talk
I
to
said,
them?
why don't you talk to him?
When they're doing it,
They'll
they
have
need to
to.
go somewhere else.
Yeah, or go
Huh?
with the
You
truck.
said-
Talk to Brett.
Yes, that's your job.
You know him, I don't.
Hey, guys.
That's no problem.
The, property up there, Frankie's property up there, I own the property next to it, and, you know, it's a shared driveway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to pay for a new tube, if you guys will get that one dug out and have them dig the ditch. I'm willing to pay for a new tube to put in there to help the water go down the ditch instead of,
No, I'll be honest, tell them we're doing the road.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it dirt or rock that we're digging up?
Right.
Is that tractor?
That'd be a big
No,
help.
not us.
Yeah.
Commissioners when they dig the
Yeah,
ditches.
because isn't that tube smashed?
Okay, our city tractor.
if you
Yeah,
guys
good enough for
Mhm.
that.
dig it out and put it in, I'll pay for the tube.
And they usually, if you pay
Like a
their
12
tube,
inch.
they'll come in and
12
Yeah.
foot or
put it
14
in all
foot,
for free.
something.
Yeah. Well, they done mine up here on the highway.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
You're correct.
Becky motioned to type a letter to remove cars out of roads and ditches and to tow at owner's expense.
Yes,
Maybe you get Frank to pay half of it.
I'll second.
You're funny.
You need to put that in the
I wanna figure out a way
newspaper
to
as well.
do it.
But that's basically the cars
I wanna
are
try to
just
figure out a way
are
to
there
do
and
it.
have been there forever.
Yeah, that's just it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Somebody does.
When you want to burn the house down. Like-
Aye. Sure, I motioned for it, so yeah.
Right.
Delaney, we also need to put that in the paper for the people that do read.
We're going to deliver it to each of their houses.
Yeah.
Okay, but should we put it in the paper still?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's either the same people that don't read the paper.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Well,
Do you have
yeah, I
anything
read
else?
the paper though.
Yeah.
Where did it-
You have a car in the ditch, Frank?
No, I have mine in the driveway.
Okay.
Me too.
Even my camper's in the driveway.
Kinda wanna talk
Then we're not
about
worried about you
noise
reading the
being
paper.
picked up, but other than that,
We don't have a way to enforce it.
no.
Yeah, that's
So
where we're
that's,
stuck.
that's
Okay.
the last thing that
Okay.
I would have.
Frank, do you have anything else?
No, are we done with new business now? We can move
Donnie,
on?
do you have anything else?
He mentioned he wanted to start on something else.
No, I covered most of everything I had, I think.
Do you have anything else, Becky?
I don't think so.
Dorothy, do you have
No.
anything else?
Alright, so we
Okay.
have, how many motions
We-
have we made today?
We're not even done, we're gonna close on this, on
We-
open business first.
Yeah, we've done that, so now open to comments.
Okay, there's right down at the bottom. Okay,
Way down there?
new business, is approved of minutes of new business. Everybody first and second. All right, open for public comments. Does the public have anything they want to bring to the board?
I wanna bring a lot of things to the board.
Well, we just don't have that much time.
I guess we've been throwing it out there as we go.
Yeah.
There's a new dog. That's something that everybody should know about.
What kind?
New what?
Pit bull.
Dog.
They got a new dog up there that's gonna be running with them, the black poodles that are really, really mean. He's nice right now, but just give him a while.
They got one at the trailer too.
Yeah.
They said it's a pit bull.
Well, my cats are disappearing.
Well, they got a pit bull up here by me, and it's running loose.
And it was running loose
Yeah.
today when we
It was
went
on
over
mine.
there.
Yeah.
It
I
didn't-
mean, my
It didn't even bark
house
at
is
us, so
secured.
I don't know.
My
I
winter
don't
dog
have
is
any.
ferocious. No dogs come in my yard.
I would like to ask you guys a question.
We can't bring
Yeah,
nothing up
wait.
until we
He's
can.
talking.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
they opened the meeting, so I thought.
Okay.
I could talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Dogs.
Okay. I was wondering, we're having a party on the 25th of May at my house. I was wondering if we could borrow the picnic tables and stuff from the pavilion.
Was that here?
Yeah.
I don't have no problem with it.
Well, it's their return.
We'll,
I don't have no problem with it.
we'll pick them up probably Saturday and put them back either Sunday night or Monday.
Question, do you want me to bring your picnic table when I come?
Yes.
Okay.
He wants to
Yeah,
borrow.
yes.
And by the way,
Yes.
you're all,
For a
you're all
year.
welcome to come. If
I'll
you want
motion
to.
it.
What's it for?
Tables
Huh?
and return them when done.
Because we can.
I'm
No.
trying to return that
Yeah,
damn thing
we're
for a
not-
year.
Doing it the
But
day
I
before
can't pick it up.
Memorial Day, and I want somebody want to do something on
You
Memorial
second
Day.
it?
I second it.
What are we seconding?
Your picnic table.
The picnic
He's
tables.
talking too much.
The use of the picnic table.
All in favor of Pete wanting to borrow the picnic tables?
Aye.
Okay.
So what about dogs?
About-
Well,
Well,
we can't
the
do
cop
nothing
said-
right.
Start
The
shooting.
cop said when he was in here after everybody like started walking out the door, he said, "Shoot, kill, don't
Yes,
tell."
that's what I've been.
The three
told.
S's, shoot, kill, and shut up.
I haven't had an issue in
That's
quite a
what he said
while.
over
Yeah,
there.
we're
house
wanting,
the
we're
other day.
wanting to bring
Uh-huh.
up city bylaws, but until we can figure out how they're supposed to be laid out, so we can actually enforce them.
But can't you do
Hey, how about ducks?
them kind of orders like the
They're all
yard
disappearing
and the
now.
dog
Yeah,
leash
I
law?
know.
Can't you do a fine with them
I will
too?
look into
Uh-huh.
that.
That's what I'm
If
saying,
we can
because Memphis
find
does a
ordinance.
fine
I know there's
for,
public
if your yard isn't moved, get fined $75 if it's so high.
I will
One was
check
dead on the
into if we
street
can
that
find
one
for
day.
ordinances
Yeah, I think
where
that
we
one.
can't get law enforcement
Yeah.
to enforce them. I'll see if we can find for those.
Well, as far as the leash law goes, that is a state law.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you there's 6 of them right by me that run every
Nobody
day.
listens.
So,
Parks and chase
I'm
every vehicle.
gonna
No,
take
and
a look
like
and I'll get
Teresa,
it for
you
next
know,
week.
her and
Well, I'm
Charlie.
not
Charlie,
supposed to
her
have
little
dogs
dog goes
in
with
the
her to
house
the
anyway.
mailbox, you know, but he don't
Yeah.
go anywhere. He
My
listens to
dogs
her.
don't leave the yard. I don't
that's
put them
what
on a
I'm
leash,
saying. She don't
and they
leave the yard.
don't leave the yard.
Does the community
We
have
go
anything
outside,
else?
she's out there with us. And I
Uh,
understand that.
What are you gonna do with the park equipment? That slide, I put that tape around it.
And someone took
And
it
someone
off.
took it off. It really needs to be taken down. Like I'm not even kidding. My 8-year-old fiberglass all over in her arm.
Well, we know who took it down, and we're in the process of trying to get that bunch.
Yeah, we're gonna look into a grant to replace everything in the park.
The same ones that drove through his yard are the same ones that were Saturday were down here
I must have
vandalizing
sleeping
the park.
Beavers.
I
Oh,
caught
really?
them, chased them out of town,
I didn't
and
know that
stopped
one.
them and jumped them.
Mhm.
Good.
Can it be cut and removed before that if it's, you know, alive?
I guess we can take it and hold the
Tags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Charlie when he gets.
You're
off
gonna
the
have to
road.
make a motion to remove it.
Yeah, exactly.
I take a motion, talk to Charlie about cutting it down and haul it. Tags
Well, and
straight up.
he's got a big tractor. He may be able to just pull it up out of the ground.
That's what I'm
But
thinking.
you don't want to leave them rods in there. Somebody's gonna
Yeah.
get hurt, trip over them.
Well, the
That's
mower
the
hit
thing
him
that has
if
to
we
go
cut
around
it
too,
or
that
whatever.
big mower.
Or if you use it as strip pole.
Want to second it?
I'll second that.
We don't want that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anything else the community has?
What about the
In our community.
what
Thank
about the
Merry-go-round?
merry-go-round? Should we?
I thought you were gonna
It's
talk
fine.
to-
It works.
Didn't you say you wanna talk to?
That's what
somebody?
I was just going to.
Right now, let's
What you
leave the
in there
rest
now?
of it
Becky not still
alone,
using that.
and then let's look into a grant to get.
Well, what
your
I was
general
gonna say, Ryan Miller's got a welder that's mobile. Maybe talk to him about coming and looking at it and jacking it up and possibly welding it back together
Oh, okay.
Merry-go-round.
and possibly trying to fix it instead of,
So to work in the meantime.
yeah.
Oh,
That was
Yeah,
discussed 2
fine.
meetings ago.
Not from in
See
here.
what he says.
It's like being in your house.
See what he thinks it would
hey,
cost.
we'll be there
Yeah.
by the time you get home.
I mean,
How
if
about
it ain't,
if you get a quote on it?
I told you get an antenna.
Do you have your set up?
I got it,
for
I got it.
internet?
Oh, so you never had a promotion on
You got it from there?
Ryan Miller to back it up.
Kill me.
almost.
No, we're gonna.
We were
talking about
He's
tabling
gonna-
it to next
he's gonna
yeah, up
do
there.
it, Then bring it to the next meeting to do it.
Oh, okay, well, I thought he just made it. That's why I was-
No.
Yeah, but we don't know if he's gonna charge us or.
Okay.
Or what or any.
Any
so-
other community?
Good thing the carpet's
Comment.
leaving us.
I don't have nothing. They don't have nothing.
Motion to close?
Oh, before we close, it's the street lights. Do we get charged for so many of them, or how does that work?
I will check into that.
Well, I think it was years ago that they quit charging us a flat rate for street lights, 'cause that's when we took out 347.
Well, the reason I was,
And put a per light, and it was unreal.
the reason I was asking if it's just a flat rate, can we request for ones that were taken down back then to be put back up?
I'll
No.
check into how we're charged and then we'll discuss.
I'm sure it's each,
Yeah, 'cause
I'm
we-
because I know that's when we took out.
I don't wanna get to where we're paying more than what we
Right.
got coming in.
That's why I say if it's flat rate, can we request for them to be put back in? But if they're individual, then we'll figure it out later.
We table the streetlights. Anything else?
Motion to close. Somebody needs to say it.
I'll be the first one, I'll make one.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright. Leisure time.
Everybody knows what they gotta do before
Yeah, I
next
wanted to
meeting.
ask that. Some beach board, what, you have anything?
Nope. Oh,
Talk
yes,
to
I
Bert about
do.
moving the cars.
Next week. I mowed the last 2 weeks. You gonna mow next week?
Everything.
You got the park up here, you got the park over there, you got all
Hey,
around here.
Talking about mowing, my boys volunteered that they would mow also with the little mowers. That way we don't always have to use the tractor unless we're in
That
town.
big tractor
Okay.
sucks
Yeah.
when you're at the park.
Ethan is using mine more.
So Ethan would like to help do the mowing too.
That'll work.
Figure out who's gonna mow